Hello. I think you guys can see me. Happy Tuesday, Mom Nation fam. I hope that you guys are all having a good day. My name is Erin, and I am here to introduce myself. I did have a really cute little logo that I was playing with on here last week that Katie's team set up for me, and I couldn't figure out this week how to get it back. So anyway, welcome to Energy Shift with Erin, where we are going to talk about all things health and wellness. I love that I'm doing these on Tuesdays, and I think as of next week, I will be doing them live right here in the group because my clients and I check in with each other on Tuesdays. So every week will be our check-in week together. I am a multi-certified nutritionist. I am a personal trainer. I help people overcome fat loss resistance. I work primarily with women in the perimenopause and menopause age to balance hormones, upregulate metabolism, work on routine and lifestyle balance, and overall just improve their mindset, to improve routine, to improve wellness, to improve family dynamics, to improve decision fatigue. And that's what we're going to get into today. But first, we're going to start out with kind of some foundations of wellness. If you are a super fit person and you're hitting the gym 4 or 5 days a week, drinking your water, eating your protein, this is going to apply to you. If you are somebody who is wanting to get back started again, this will apply to you. I am a person who believes that we can meet people where they are at and make sure that everybody has a health and wellness plan that works for your lifestyle and your goals. Wherever you fall within the spectrum of fitness, we can all improve our mental and physical health. And mental health plays a huge role in my practice, as well as I think our overall lives, right? And I bet you guys would agree with me there. So the first thing that we're going to dive into are my foundations of wellness that I implement in each and every one of my clients' protocols. And what I would recommend is that you slowly start to implement these things week to week, and we can check in together on Tuesdays, just like I do with my clients, to see where you're at, make sure that you are on the right track, troubleshoot with you, help you with any sort of roadblocks you might be dealing with, and get you in a path that is in the direction of your goals, but also is helpful for stress management, routine management, all the things that busy moms need. And we tend to forget about when it comes to ourselves. You're so busy taking care of your children and your families and your businesses and all of the things that you do throughout the week that it can be really easy to forget that you have needs too. And that's where I am going to come in and remind you of your own needs. So what we want to do is we're going to start small. So you're going to pick one thing that you need to work on. I often recommend one of 4 things. More water. We live in Arizona. It's a dry place to live, a dry climate. We're about to hit summer months. I actually live in Williams, Arizona, so we live in a cooler climate, but we spend half of our year now in Puerto Penasco, Mexico. So I'm in Mexico part of the year. It's about to get hot. It's actually pretty warm here today, almost 80 degrees. I'm sure it's warm in Phoenix. So water is a great place to start. If you're not hydrating enough, you should implement that into your daily routine, something easy to do. Somewhere between 64 and 96 ounces, that's a half a gallon to 3/4 of a gallon of water a day. Something that we can all do to improve upon our health and wellness goals. It's essentially free and it's easy to implement into our lives. So water. The next one is going to be steps. Getting outside and getting vitamin D is hugely beneficial for our mental and physical health. I try to put those 2 words together, our mental and physical health. So if you can get outside and get on a walk, even if it's 10, 15 minutes, it's about to get hot. So maybe it's at the gym or on your walking pad, your treadmill at home, whatever it is that you have, or first thing in the morning, or even in the evening, as it gets into the warmer temperatures in the Phoenix area, you can get your walk in. With the the ultimate goal being to try to walk at least 30 minutes a day, or 8 to 10,000 steps. That would be on the higher end of our goals. That's number 2. Number 3 is protein intake. Most adults are dramatically under consuming protein, and that is where we have issues with cravings, metabolic conditions, fat loss resistance, all kinds of things that we face in middle age and or as our lives get more stressful. When you have kids, those kinds of things, your sleep schedule's off. When we are adequately nourished, our bodies are going to respond better even through higher stress periods of time. So making sure you're getting 25 grams or to 30 grams of protein with each meal is huge. It's huge. So you can start by just understanding how many, like if you like chicken, how many ounces of chicken is 25 to 30 grams of protein? Look that up. Google will tell you all of this. It's 1 scoop of protein powder. It's about 25 grams usually of protein. You can do Greek yogurt. What I did this morning for my breakfast was 2 things of Greek yogurt because they're about 12 grams of protein each, the ones that I have. And so I got myself to 24 grams. We're close enough there. I added fruit, I added nuts. The nuts have a little bit more protein, so I'm pretty dang close to that 25 grams of protein for my meal. So we're going to pick one of those 3 things. And then the last one is fiber. Making sure you're eating a fruit or vegetable with each meal every day. That is going to help with digestion. It's going to help with bloating. It's going to help with gut health, and it helps you stay full longer if you happen to have a fat loss goal and you struggle with cravings. We can start to implement these things without rigid dietary protocols. So you don't have to track your food. You don't have to hit the gym if you're super busy. There's a lot of things that you can do that essentially are free. You can do if you have spare time. I know that is a hard to come by term, but you're eating anyway. You're moving most likely anyway, so you can start to track your steps if you're chasing toddlers around or that kind of thing. You can definitely get more water in. I call this my emotional support cup, and it goes everywhere with me. So I make sure to have at least 2 of those a day. That gets me to 80 ounces of water, if not more. And we want it to be plain water. Yes, bubbly water and those kinds of things will count, but this is going to help significantly with a lot of things. Hydration, again, satiety, making sure that our systems are flushed out, inflammation, lots of stuff that we deal with on the day-to-day that we may struggle with feeling good, with having energy. All of those things lead back to these 4 basic foundations that we can start to implement. You don't need to do all of them at the same time. Pick one. When that becomes a little bit more fluid in your routine, then add another one to it. Speaking of routines, we are going to dive into decision fatigue today, and I'm going to try to help you minimize your overload when it comes to your day. One of the biggest questions that I get in my coaching practice is, Erin, how do I reduce stress? I work with mostly women over the age of 35, most of which or all of which have children at varying ages at home. So from toddlers to teenagers to even young adults. So we're kind of all over the map. Most of them are dealing with lots of decisions every day, lots of stress, and also want to improve their health and body composition. So we can do that. We just have to approach it in a way that is going to be a little bit different than when we were maybe in our 20s or maybe even early 30s. But if you are somebody watching this and you are in your late 20s or in your early 30s, if you start to implement this stuff now, it's going to be a game changer for your overall health and wellness as you age. The earlier you can start, the better. But if you're starting later, that's okay too. I really didn't get rolling. I was always dabbling in health and wellness. I worked out, I ran marathons. I did all of that stuff through my 20s, but never really quite dialed it in until I started to rapidly put on body fat at about 34, 35. My lifestyle changed, my job changed. I didn't think I changed that much when it came to eating, but I was a lot less mobile than I was in the previous version of my life where I was bartending and running around at restaurants and going out a lot and all the things that you do when you're a little bit younger. Now, I'm 42 and I have not only maintained a 40-pound weight loss, but I've also put on lean muscle mass. I've balanced my hormones and I've upregulated my metabolism. So I don't really worry about scale fluctuations or yo-yo weight gain or any of those things anymore. And I want to bring that to this community and beyond, because there's a lot of things that we deal with in our day-to-day life that if we just manipulate slightly, it's going to, one, lead to less stress, which is always my first goal. It's always my first goal to improve your life first, improve your health. And then the side effect of that is usually body composition change. And I think that that's really important. We usually approach our health and wellness goals with only the physical in mind. And that can lead to a lot of self-sabotage. It can lead to a lot of quick fix mindsets. It can lead to a lot of stress. We think we have to be perfect. It's that all or nothing thing. And it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, I would say that that is causing a resistance between you and the person that you want to be. Even if you don't have a health and wellness goal per se, or you don't have a body composition goal per se, all of us can work on being healthier, right? So that is the goal. And we're going to dive into that here. We're going to dive into mindset stuff. We're going to dive into the specifics of body composition change. If you guys have anything that you want me to address or talk about, reminder, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose, but I can help with some medical stuff. I've helped people reverse type 2 diabetes. I've helped people put their PCOS into remission. I have helped with all kinds of autoimmune conditions and metabolic disorders. So I do have a lot of knowledge on medical conditions that can make fat loss, body composition change, and health harder. I just can't diagnose. I'm not a doctor. I'm a nutritionist. So we do our work. I do my work primarily with food, with movement, and some supplementation as needed. But anyway, so for today, we're going to dive into routine and how you can start to lower your decision fatigue in order to improve your quality of life. As busy moms, you all know that life can get crazy. And one of the ways that we can start to lower our stress load is by creating pillars in our day, routine pillars. It doesn't have to be this militant, like very structured, this is what I do at 8, this is what I do at 9, this is what I do at 10. It doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to go in the cold plunge. It's not this influencer style way of living. You can't live your life that way. They don't even live their life that way. I know some of them, and they're not doing it either. But what we can do is create pillars. And the importance of that is so we have something to lean on. You can think of it as your life foundation. What that means is, like, if your house was built on a shaky foundation, it would just crumble and fall apart. Oftentimes, that's what we're doing in our life. We have no pillars to stand upon. Our pillars that we know that we're going to need to bring into our everyday are sleeping, eating, drinking, and movement in some capacity, even if that is just getting up from your desk to go to the bathroom. So we can be intentional about those things. And one of the more important things to be intentional about is eating. This is where life can start to get chaotic. You get up in the morning, you are running around getting the kids ready, you're crazy, you run out the door, you forgot to eat. And so then you run through the drive-through, grab a latte and some egg bites from Starbucks. You haven't eaten enough calories, so then you're starving at lunchtime, and then you overconsume Chipotle, and it turns into this vicious cycle. Well, what we can do and what we should do is start building ourselves some foundations. Breakfast. Remember, we're going to shoot for 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal. So that's 3 times a day plus 1 snack. That's going to get everybody over the threshold of 100 grams of protein a day. Now, if you have a higher goal than that, of course, stick to that. But most adults are under consuming protein. So we're going to start with breakfast. If you know your mornings are crazy, Your foundation is going to start the night before. Maybe that's making your own egg bites at night real quick in the air fryer and just having them ready to go so you can stick them in the microwave and pop them in the car on the way out the door. Maybe that's putting yourself together a morning breakfast shake, protein powder, avocado, egg whites, a little bit of almond butter, fruits, vegetables, that kind of thing. And then just blending it when you get up in the morning, drinking it, get out the door. Same thing with like overnight oats. Create yourself a pillar. Have it ready to go the night before. So all you got to do is grab it in the morning. If your afternoons are crazy, we're going to do the same thing. We make our lunch, maybe when you make the kids' lunch. People sleep on sandwiches. You make your kids a sandwich and we don't eat sandwiches. I swear to you, I told one of my clients who has a 13-year-old, I believe, her days are crazy. And her lunch meal was the craziest meal of all. That's usually when she would go out to eat or run to the drive-through or order DoorDash or whatever the case may be. And she kept missing on her goals and she wasn't getting the results she wanted from it. It was like, girl, just make yourself a sandwich. And it has a fat loss goal. Okay, so this is important. She dropped 2.5 pounds in 1 week from just switching to sandwiches. It's that simple. She's using more protein on her own. She has it planned out. It's ready to go. She knows exactly what she's eating. Her stress level diminishes. She can have it with chips or with fruit or with a side of veggies and hummus. What she's done, all of those things doesn't really matter as long as if you have a calorie goal or a body composition goal. Of course, calories do matter. But for this context, we're talking about just building you some pillars to lean on. Same thing with dinners. Let's say your kids are in sports, right? And Thursday nights are always practices and it's absolutely crazy. And you're running through the drive-through and then you feel guilty on Friday. And like we keep going through these cycles of stress that we don't have to go through. So what you do instead is every Thursday morning, we're going to make green chili tacos. And if you want, I have this crock pot guide. I will send it to you. It has an amazing crock pot recipes that you can set and forget and head out the door. And then when you get home from practice or whatever crazy day, your dinner is just ready. You cut up some veggies and you make green chili pork tacos or chicken tacos or, whatever thing you put into the crock pot. We have a ton of stuff in there for you. Super easy. Then you don't have to stress out. It's ready to go. 5 minutes to cut up vegetables. The kids are fed. You're fed. You can eat within your goals. You're still hitting your protein goal, that kind of thing. And you are less stressed. This is how we start to build a routine that is going to keep our goals in mind, our health in mind, and our stress lower. Same thing at night. We need to start building ourselves a nighttime routine. Now, this changes when varying ages of children, right? If you have infants or toddlers, you may have to wait to start a nighttime routine. It just is what it is because you have babies waking up at different times. Toddlers might not go to bed at the same time. Those things vary, but as your kids get older, you can start to create a nighttime routine with them. Start to shut the lights down, lower the lights in the house. That creates a natural wind down response. Melatonin production starts in the body, so everybody winds down. Maybe you put the kids to bed and then you take a bath or you read a book or whatever the case may be. Try to stay off your phone. Try to avoid the scrolling. That's just keeping you awake longer, especially if you have sleep issues. But these are just examples. We want 3 pillars in our day that we can lean on. We don't have to think about. For me, I have Greek yogurt with fruit and nuts or chocolate chips every morning. My mornings are usually the craziest. That's when I'm checking in with clients. I have an online business. So that's when, like, if somebody messaged me overnight, I'll be getting back to messages and emails. I write my posts. I write my emails in the morning. So usually from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. are my busiest times. So I don't want to cook a crazy elaborate breakfast. We do cook breakfasts on the weekends, but during the week, I just have enough Greek yogurt to hit my 25 to 30 gram protein goal with some fruit. So I hit my fiber goal and some nuts. So I get I get more fiber there. I get a little bit of a fat source. It's like a yogurt parfait, but it can be prepared in 2 minutes so that I can just get back to work. So that is one for me. That's one of my foundations. My next foundation, this is going to sound crazy, but it's so simple. I want something sweet in the afternoon, so I have a Coke Zero. I used to go to Starbucks every day. Not only was that costing me a ton of money, but it was taking me out of my element, and it was I didn't need the extra caffeine. I didn't need the extra sugar. Even if I got a lower sugar drink, I just didn't need that. So I switched to Coke Zero, and I look forward to that every day. I have something sweet, and it's saving me money, and it's more in alignment with my health and wellness goals. And then my last one is I have my nighttime routine, which is usually a Epsom salt bath. I'm an avid weightlifter. I like to hit the weights. You can see you're in my gym. The rest of it is over here in Mexico. But I like to take a bath at night. And so that's kind of like my me time. When I wind down, I'm either listening to an audiobook, reading a book, listening to a podcast. I've been trying to practice Spanish. That's kind of, and if I am not in the bath, we have a sauna in our garage, so I'm in the sauna, something like that. Those are my 3 pillars of the day, and they keep me grounded and they keep me mindful. And I also have ones for the week. On Friday night is date night with my husband, something I look forward to. I'm not a big drinker, but I do have a couple cocktails usually on that. Those are the only ones I have all week. And then we go out for pizza or steak usually. And it's something that I look forward to, so that I know we are always going to go out for our dinner on Friday. So it's easier for me to manage my nutrition and manage my goals and eat at home for the rest of the week. Tuesday nights, we get tacos out also. So those are like our 2 out meals, 1 takeout, 1 date night. We have those pillars set up so that we don't, like, everything else is in place. If you start to do this for yourself, you are going to fall into a routine, one that you like, because again, this includes fun stuff too. It's not just this rigidity. It's usually we like, especially when we're starting with new health and wellness goals, we create such a level of rigidity that we can't stick to it. We want to add in the date night. We want to add in something fun so that we can get to the end goal in a mindset that's sustainable and with less stress. So I would encourage you today, as I pop off of here, to start setting up your own pillar, your own foundation beginning. Just one thing, especially in the craziest part of your day. Maybe that's midday, maybe that's dinner time, maybe that's first thing in the morning. Let's get you something. And I want you to share with me what that is. If you could share with me in the comments or send me a message if you don't feel comfortable, connect with me on social media. I want to help you stay accountable so that when we check in on Tuesdays, I can ask you how your foundations are going, how your stress levels are going, all of those things. And again, it can be one of the things I mentioned in the beginning. And I would also encourage you to give yourself a pillar, something you do for yourself every single day or most days of the week that just make your life easier. And when things are chaotic, you know, you can go into the fridge and grab your Greek yogurt parfait thing or put it together in 2 minutes. That's my example. And then you have your breakfast for the morning. You can get back to work and you don't even have to think about it. It's just done. Anyway, I hope that this was helpful. Please, please, please send me messages or comment below with things that you want to know more about. Fat loss in middle age, growing muscle, stress management, routine management, mindset shifts, all of those things are what I work on directly with my one-on-one clients. And I want to be able to bring that into this community and help you with what you feel like is something that you want to improve upon in your life. Let me know if you're picking water. Let me know if you're eating more protein. Let me know what you want us to talk about every Tuesday when we check in together on this energy shift. And my hope is that we bring a higher vibe, Katie already crushes it and really does a lot for the community. And we wanted to pair together to be able to just expand on that. And that's why I liked the word energy shift. You'll probably see my actual logo that I created. I don't know what happened to it. I couldn't figure out how to get it on here today. Of course, it was on there last week when I was playing around in here, but this week it's not there. So, and if you want to have a conversation about health and wellness, you're always welcome to join me on here or shoot me a DM. I'm always willing to chat, try to troubleshoot anything that you have going on, because what I really want at the end of the day is for us all to have a lot of energy, to feel really good, to love our routine, to feel grounded, to feel mindful, and to just be able to be present for your families and for yourself. So you guys have a fantastic Tuesday, and I will see you again next week.